As we mentioned earlier, President Biden made his first appearance at a White House press briefing since taking office. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang was in the briefing room and joins us now. So, Weijia, quite the surprise today. What did you make of his visit to the briefing room?
Lindsay, it really was. This was his first time as president at the podium inside the briefing room. And you can imagine we have been asking for this moment for just about 4 years now. But I think it made sense for him to come today because he had two big economic wins that he really wanted to tout, which was being able to avert the port strike that could have had such a detrimental impact on people across the nation, and also, of course, this new jobs number that was better than expected that he wanted to tout as part of his economic agenda. But, you know, there have been good days like that before, Lindsay, for this administration when the president did not come out to the podium. But, you know, the clock is ticking. He doesn't have much time to do that. And it is traditional for the president to do that. So perhaps he just wanted to come out and you know, engage with reporters in a way that we have been asking for so long now.
And you asked one of the first questions when we got to the Q&A portion. I want to play some of that.
No administration has helped Israel more than I have. None. 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 And I think Bibi should remember that. And whether he's trying to influence the election or not, I don't know, but I'm not counting on that.
I probably should have said what your question was, but why don't you go ahead and enlighten us what you asked and what you made of his response?
Well, I asked about what Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut said earlier this week, which was quite a headline. He said that he was concerned that there was a chance that Netanyahu was making his decisions trying to influence the American election. And perhaps that was the reason why he has not agreed to a diplomatic solution in the Middle East, because that would be a win for the Biden-Harris administration. And Murphy questioned whether that's the very reason why Netanyahu is not signing on to one. And so I asked the president whether he had any concerns that Netanyahu was trying to influence the presidential election. You heard his answer. He said, you know, my administration has done more for Israel than anybody. And he went on to say, I don't know whether Netanyahu is trying to influence what happens, but he isn't counting on it. I also asked about, you know, the many times in the past week or so that President Biden has said he would speak to Netanyahu, but that has not happened yet. And he said that he would probably talk to him after a decision has been made about how Israel would retaliate for that Iranian missile strike, Lindsay.
It was a very telling response because he was like, well, I'm not begging to talk to Netanyahu. It was a very interesting moment.
Right. Exactly. And I wish I had been able to follow up and say, why aren't you trying to talk to him, given the tensions right now and given the U.S.'s belief that there ought to be some sort of ceasefire ultimately, both in Lebanon and in Gaza? Why don't you pick up the phone and try to, you know, advise Netanyahu, especially since the U.S. continues to provide weaponry? But, you know, we don't have all the time in the world, Lindsay. We have to share the president when he makes such a rare appearance in the briefing room.
Right. Give as many journalists as possible a chance to ask a question. Weijia, the president was asked if he thinks the election results will be free and fair. How did he respond?
Yeah, I think this was the biggest newsmaker of all, because he was asked whether he thought the election would be free and fair and peaceful. And he said, wait a minute, that's two different questions. He said, I do think that it will be free and fair, but I'm not sure that it will be peaceful. And so that is a warning, and that is a perhaps, you know, a glimpse into how the president is viewing this, given what we saw on January 6th in 2021.
What do we know about the president's schedule? Can we expect him to be more forward-facing in the weeks leading up to the election?
Well, he has a very busy schedule, Lindsay. In fact, he is going to Germany and Angola next week. And, you know, he has already said previously that he would be stumping for the vice president, not to mention that he is dealing with, you know, the crises dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. And so we do expect to see him a lot. I think that he really wants to solidify his legacy and remind people all of the accomplishments that his administration has done. But also, we are in a campaign. We are just a month now away from Election Day. And so, you know, he has said he wants to do everything he can to help his vice president take over for him.
Weijia Jiang, thank you.
Sure.